What's going on, everyone? Griever here, as always, bringing you guys the latest behind-the-bar reviews for One Piece. One Piece Chapter 934. Now, before we get underway with this review, I want to apologize quickly for the lateness of this review, alongside the Shokugeki no Soma review, which is unfortunate because it was the big 300 for Shokugeki no Soma. I'm really sorry about that, guys. Going to try to get them both out this weekend. It's just that Friday night, of course, Friday I work my day job, and then Friday night had a big get-together here at the house with a lot of friends and stuff. Friends moving to Japan soon, something we all can appreciate. So we were having a get-together just in case we couldn't all get together before then, blah, blah, blah. Had a really great time, but now that I'm cured halfway through my hangover, it's time to review One Piece. Now, I like this chapter because of a couple of key things. Now, at the beginning of the chapter, which I really like here, is that we see what has happened to the Big Mom pirates. The ship did not capsize. Most of them are okay. Any of the main people we know, even that Flumpig, like, why didn't she drown? Like, really? Because they do remark on the fact, okay, it's a miracle the ship didn't capsize. We can't find Big Mom. We know she's alive because of the Griever card. Sparrow has currently taken command. Of course, he would, being the firstborn and a former Sweet Commander, should you say. But it doesn't seem like it's going in that direction necessarily. I mean, Smoothie and Daifuku are also there and stuff, and Smoothie being one of the current Sweet Commanders. I don't know how that ranking system necessarily works. And that's even brought up, in fact, when they say, oh, well, here's Big Mom's Griever card. She's alive and stuff. They go into talking about that a lot of Devil Fruit users drowned when the ship went over, and there's no way they can climb back up that waterfall because the king will just attack them again. Same idea, just momentum and force. And a lot of people didn't like that happened to the Big Mom pirates. It made perfect sense to me. If you smack something, gravity, supersonic speed, I mean, it's just gonna happen. I don't care if you're Kaido, Big Mom, Shanks, anybody. The fact of the matter is, it happened, and I don't see the issue with it. And also, why? It's very curious here, is the fact that they go through the pecking order sort of idea. Because they bring up the fact that, okay, well, you know, they are both Yonko now. They may have been, so her children know, and say they were allies in the past. They know all about the Locks the Rocks pirates. They know all about that history by the sounds of it. Maybe not all the details, but they do know about it. They're like, even though, you know, Kaido and Big and Mama were allies in the past, right now they're enemies, they're Yonko, it doesn't matter. They'll try to kill each other sort of idea. And right now, if Big Mom has been captured, and here's the thing, Smoothie's the only one with faith. Like, she even says, stop trying to apply normal logic to our mother. Like, she is a Yonko for a reason sort of idea. Everyone's like, captured? Captured by who? Who could capture Big Mom successfully? Even if she did get beaten around, like, forget the amnesia stuff, because right now, they don't know that, and Big Mom washed up on shore 100% fine. Physically, it seems, other than the amnesia. So, like, who on Wano is going to be able to go toe-to-toe and manage to capture Big Mom without a huge scuffle across the entire island? Like, so, it's very interesting to me that people like Daifuku and Sparrow and them are all there, and they're all thinking this stuff, and Smoothie's the only one going, are you guys insane? Like, you really? I do like the fact that we do get a pecking order thing that I referenced once again, is the fact that they say, oh, well, if this happens, if she's captured, Kaido will kill her, what will happen to us, what will happen to the Big Mom pirates and stuff. Sparrow, cocky as hell, just sits back and goes, well, we'll rename them the Sparrow Pirates, and I'll take over. And Daifuku's like, are you a freaking idiot? It's gonna be Brother Katakuri, or Dogtooth. Brother Katakuri is going to obviously be the next one in line. It's something we all figured. He is the de facto first mate of the crew. I know that Strusen is the co-founder, but the first mate of the Big Mom Pirates is kind of like what's in 3 Sweet Commanders, but it's always been stated that Katakuri's kind of the main sort of guy, and Daifuku even brings that up. It's going to be, it might be because he's a triplet with him, I don't know, but he says it's obviously going to be him, and Sparrow sitting back like, I'm pretty sure it's decided by birth order, and that's when Daifuku once again says, "It's not birth order, you idiot. It's skill. He's the second one in line for strength and power and influence. He's the one, So it brings up something that has been talked about in the One Piece community before about how necessarily sometimes first mates work. In this instance, and I've heard some lunacy from some fans about the way the first mate system works. It's quite very simple. Is the first mate is usually the second in command. In One Piece, they don't bring this up too much. Rank, a lot of the time among the pirates, doesn't seem to matter too much. For example, Zoro has never been officially stated to be the first mate. And in retrospect, really, Nami is the one who takes care of the ship and everything. So she actually has more influence and more commanding authority than even Luffy at times. However, that's once again an interesting situation. So it's something that has been brought up many times. It's been brought up in podcasts and the like. Who do you think is the actual first mate of a crew? And does first mate, like in the real world, and the definition of it here is first mate in the One Piece verse, are they the second in command? Are they the one that if somebody dies, like if your captain is taken or your captain dies or something, who takes over? In this case, I would say it would be Zoro, Katakuri, Rayleigh, Ben Beckman, Marco, all those people. They are the ones, because they are the first mate. That's just the way the pecking order works. That being said, sorry for the little sidetrack there, guys, but I know that I've discussed this before with some people, and I remember people not really thinking, like, trying to go too far in depth with it. They weren't, they were, like, trying to overthink it, I think, and it's quite very black and white. It's a very easy situation. It's the same application of a captain. Captain runs a ship, first mate, second in command, navigator steers it. It's quite easy to understand. So, anyways, so we move on from there, and we see we're back with Hitetsu, and they're going through these mini. Usopp brings them up and stuff. Basically, Wano's version of a Denden Mushi. It looks more like a miniature, like the cell phone. Like they have. It's kind of funny actually. That they have like these miniature versions, and they're talking to Tama, Momonosuke, Kiku, and stuff, and just saying, "Big Mom, who's that?" Blah blah blah. They're having a conversation back and forth. Apparently, they're heading to the Udon region, which is where the prison is that Luffy and Kid are at. Now, that's kind of interesting, but the key things to bring away from this conversation is the fact that, like, it's just a bunch of banter back and forth, and Big Mom is, as we know, being called Olin, like her Lin name. So that's interesting. Chopper does note a few things. There's some comedic things here, like flashbacks about, when Luffy kind of wanted to eat Chopper when they first met, sort of idea, and Big Mom keeps looking over at him, like, and just drooling, and he's like, "Don't do that, like, I'm not food here." And so that's quite funny. But the key thing to take away from this conversation is not necessarily the banter, but we finally get a map of Wano, including Onigashima. We get, here's the Udon region, here's the Curry region, here's the flower capital, here's this, here's that, here's the other thing. And all the known locations that we have so far known about and visited are all marked on this map. It's really, really cool, and I'm sure when I get a chance to watch Tekking 101's video, it's going to be a big, big hype, orgasmic moment of geography is everything. So that's going to be really fun to watch, because that's all, and it's true that it's got a lot to do with this story, geography. So, that's really cool. I was waiting for the map myself. I really like having that visual aspect to be able to go, okay, I kind of know where they all are, how this is working and such. So one of the big things, though, is Chopper notes is that the hat, Big Mom's hat, which is a homie, has not said a word, has not looked around, as far as Chopper can tell, has laid dormant in some way. He brings up the fact that it hasn't said anything. Did it lose its memories as well? So that brings up a really interesting point, though, because if that were the case, the homies are a connection to Big Mom's soul in these particular cases, like Zeus. Yet Zeus, from all intents and purposes, seems to not have had any bout with amnesia. Nami summons him, blah, 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 seems to recognize there's no issue there. So why the hat necessarily is also affected in this way, or maybe the hat realizes maybe the homie is a little more intelligent. It's so hard to determine. I'm very curious about that. The fact that Oda brings it up makes it a good point. Maybe he was just making sure that people weren't going to go off on theories for weeks and weeks and weeks just kind of like, yes, the hat's still a homie. It's there. Chopper notes that that's something weird going on, but don't worry about it. Nobody knows what's going on yet, sort of idea. So to curb some theories there, or maybe to start some theories. I don't know, but I like the fact that that was brought up when they're talking about it. So anyways, Big Mom is very childlike, like she used to be, saying, you know, the poor people, I'm still really hungry, but they have nothing. She's a little selfish. Like, they couldn't give us any road food, but they have poor, that, you know, I don't even know who I am, and they're so nice to me anyways, and all that stuff. So she's kind of back to being her usual self, like before. It's kind of interesting. I'm curious as to where this is going to go. But they're heading to the Udon region, where, once again, of course, that's where Luffy is. Now, before we jump from this scene, we see Momonosuke, and he's yelling this term. Now, I didn't have a chance to go through 933 chapters of One Piece, but apparently this is a magic word that Zoro taught Momonosuke, is snatch. And it's his, you know, battle cry, pretty much. And Zoro told him, you know, this is a magic word to, you know, instill courage and stuff, and blah, blah, blah. When he's doing this while training, Kiku brings up the fact that, where did you hear this word? And Momonosuke says, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And this is a big reference. Now, a lot of people are going to say this is a reference to the fact that Zoro is actually from Wano. No, it's more than likely that his teacher was from Wano and taught him this. That's the guys I'm going to go on, is the fact, because what he says when he yells it and stuff, Kiku says that's from an old dialect here in Wano. It's rarely used anymore, but I guess it's supposedly a bad word. It's something, it might have been used by vagabonds or something. Maybe it's a dishonorable thing to use. You know what I mean? It could be a word that morphed into something. It's from the old dialect, but it wasn't always. It wasn't a nice word. It wasn't from honorable samurai. It's a clan of, like, maybe dubious people or something like that. Insidious clan of samurai. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like that seems to be the case here. And she says you shouldn't say that anymore and blah, blah, blah. I forbid you to talk like that. Once again, the big thing here is Oda. I don't know if this is a translation thing or something, and that's why we got that. But snatch, to honestly bring up the fact that it's a bad word, you know, like once again, there's many definitions of that word, but to say, use that spelling, use that word, and then talk about it, no, you're a child, you shouldn't say words like that, bring up the fact that it's bad, foul language and such, it leads you to a very certain definition, and Oda really, like, I hope it's a translation thing. I'm assuming it's going to be fixed in the Viz. I'm assuming that because that seems like a little too, especially over here in the West, it's too far connected. It might be an older term, but, and if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, I just don't want this to be totally like a smutty sort of video, so I'm trying to bring up a point, but try to keep it PG for the PG audience here. But at the end of the day, it's not a very nice word, and the fact that it's not a nice word in the realms of One Piece is kind of hilarious. Maybe that's the joke Oda's going for, and he used something that's kind of lesser known, or it's used by older generations. Most generations that read One Piece do not know this term, as far as that goes, or it's lesser known, I should say, not that it's not known. So either way, after this whole scene, we do jump from here, the fact that they're heading to Udon and such, and once again, the Perospero pirates, as they currently are being, don't really have much recourse. We don't get any plans from them. They're just kind of chilling there in the waters outside of Wano, trying to figure it out. And we jump from there, and we jump over to Brook, Nami, Robin, all of them, who seem to have gotten away from the Flower Capital with very little injuries. So that's this conversation. It's kind of fun. So in this scene, basically, Nami is totally appalled at the fact that Komurasaki is dead. Not because Komurasaki was killed, but the fact that samurai and the shogun and stuff seem to have no regards for beauty, and that ain't going to be able to save her this time. Her one trump card always in her sleeves. Never, it's not going to work here this time. Samurai are so scary and such. So they bring up the fact that this Kiroshiro, the current leader of the Yakuza in Wano, is not someone that's known to them. It's not someone, back then it was Hero of the Flowers, of course the title of the chapter and such. And we meet him later on in this chapter, so that's really cool. I like the fact that we're starting to reveal more and more people. Like, I really want to meet up with the Batosai referenced dude, and I want to see who's in the jail and stuff. I like seeing more and more characters be introduced all at once. It's exciting because you don't know what's their power. Do they have devil fruits? Do they have hockey? What's their history? It's really fun figuring out what happened, how one was 20 years ago, and how it is right now. It's a lot of fun. We see that they all talk about going to the bathhouse and stuff. They want to go to the bathhouse just to get some R&R. They're going to disguise themselves and everything. And everyone says, "Oh yeah, that'd be really nice." But everyone seemed to get away scot-free. Everybody's fine. Now, Robin is very disillusioned by the fact that she got no information. Now, I brought this up in, I believe, the not last chapter, but the previous chapter before that review, that Robin didn't seem to get very far. Her mission was basically a fail, but apparently it was not. In that short amount of time that she had, she figured out the contents of the gift, the time they're leaving for, the Onigashima, the time they arrive, the time of the feast, where people will be, the number of combat soldiers, the number of people there, the number of this. She found out all this information, but she's depressed about it, that's all she gathered. And it's actually a really funny scene that, like, because she's the knowledge one, that's her thing, this is only 2 books when she wants a library full of information, right? Brooke did find a poneglyph. Not a red one, so not a road poneglyph. Did not find a road poneglyph. However, did find a poneglyph, did not get a chance to etch it down, so we don't know the contents of what it is. It's apparently surrounded by these wooden dolls. Once again, because my review is late, I didn't have time to look these up. But I know there are a lot in different myths about different type of statues and dolls and the like in Japanese mythology and culture, so I'm sure somebody knows the name of these dolls and another reviewer will bring it up anyways. Whether it has any actual relevance, it's probably something around the fact that they created these poneglyphs, and these are either guardians or protectors, or a lot of the time, if they don't use them as guardians, they use them to ward off the evil, or ward off the evil spirits, to seal them, to protect them. That's a very big thing with Japanese mythology, so I'm very curious to figure out what that is. I hope I'll have a chance to do my research on that later. But here's the key thing to bring away from this conversation is the fact that they're going to the woman's baths. Yes. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since we had a good old chapter in a woman's bathhouse. That's what I'm taking away from this. That's the only thing I can take away from this. But suffice to say, after that we jump over to Ibisu Town. Now, this is the reason I believe Zoro was stated to have been there at a certain time. This is happening before this, because clearly Zoro is no longer in Ibisu Town by the sounds of this. By the sounds of it anyway, it seems that he's not there. If I got that correctly, once again, my references are off, but isn't Ibisu Town the place that Zoro was? With everybody smiling and such? I believe that was the port town he went to. If I'm wrong, if it was just another town name, and this is a total weird reference, but now if I'm right about this, then that's why we got the timestamp from Oda, because clearly whatever happened in that town, Zoro's no longer there, or left for some reason, or whatever, because they're all there now. Frankie, Law, Sanji, and here's another thing, Sanji, where did he come from? He just, the whole flower capital, the whole town, everyone's like, "Oh, Morisaki is dead, this is a tragedy," all the men are weeping, and Sanji's one of the ones weeping, of course. And the thing is that he's got the raid suit off. What, did he beat up Page One and leave? Like, a lot of people are assuming it's because Hawkins and Drake and people were on their way sort of idea. That was the thing. But, really? Page One, he gave him a couple shots and then would just abruptly, "Oh, no, he's fine. We don't know what happened to Page One. We don't know what happened at the end of the fight. We don't know if he just ran away after giving a couple of blows and Drake was on his way or something. We have no idea." And that's weird. So, right now, is Page One in pursuit? Is Drake in pursuit of them? We don't know. So I'm just like, what? We jump from here, we're not jumping A, B, C. We jump from A to D. There's B and C here, Oda. What are you doing to me? So clearly, I mean, once again, probably in later chapters we'll find out exactly probably what happened, whether a flashback or just a quick thing of dialogue. Yeah, I ran away when Drake showed up or something. Didn't want to get in over my head. Now, Frankie and Usopp and stuff, they're all bringing up the fact that Luffy's probably really impatient. We'll get Luffy out of there pretty soon. They're heading to the Udon region, all this stuff. They're talking about, Usopp brings up the smart Mushi or the smart Denden or whatever it is, basically the mobile version, the cell phone, which is funny because one was supposed to be the underdeveloped country or the more prehistoric in that sense, a different time period, different era. It's not supposed to be technologically advanced like the outside world, yet they seem to have a better version of the Denden Mushi, at least as far as I can tell. So that's pretty funny. And the whole time, Sanji's just going through, he's talking, like he'll start a sentence, and they'll say, the woman's bath, or the public bathhouse, or I wonder where that is, but then he'll bring up something totally different. He cannot get his mind out of the gutter while holding the number 3 raid suit and realizing that Absalom's fruit was my desire, but now I have this. I love German technology now. This was made for me. My father really did love me. Sort of like he must be thinking something along those lines, because that's just hilarious. Now they all bring up the fact that Law's reading the paper and Eustace Kid has apparently escaped the prison. And we jump right over to the prison and we see Luffy still in sea stone handcuffs, still doing his thing, still being treated like crap. Apparently they took no real repercussions from kicking the crap out of a couple of the jailers before, which is really funny in this scene. This scene, I'm curious, because I'm just going to jump over to the end here, because we all know, okay, so they attacked them and they were just like, whatever, no big deal, like Kid and Luffy, last time we saw them. Now all of a sudden everyone's like, so he's going up to attack a jailer again to defend the old man. Everyone's like, oh no, you can't do that if you hit a jailer, death penalties. But, well, was there a death penalty for the hippo guy? Like, does the hippo guy not count as a jailer? Like, I'm once again, did not get a chance to go back and remember his title or name or anything, but you remember the hippo gifter, the Smile Devil Fruit user. I mean, they basically, I guess they didn't hit him, but what? Like, so, I guess there's not really any repercussions, really, so I find that kind of weird, like we're jumping across the place. Now, apparently Kid escaped, but he did not escape with, his handcuffs are still on, his sea stone handcuffs, so they're just like, we'll find him and we'll kill him, we won't even bring him back to the prison. Now, a lot of people bring up the theory that this is all part of their plan, probably Caribou's involved, Rizo's involved, all that stuff, and this is all a ploy to get them out of the prison in some way. So it's really interesting to see what's going on here. Now, where is Kid? Did Kid really escape? I don't know. Luffy doesn't seem to really care about it, so it's curious. How much time passed there is interesting. Like, it's been I believe it was like 9 days remain at the end of the last chapter and stuff, so it's been a couple days in prison and such. Now, this is where we get the reveal that the old man, a lot of people thought the old man was Komorosaki's father, which is still possible. This is still a big possibility that Komorosaki, this is why Kiyoshiro and her seem to have this weird like glance, like look at each other, are you prepared? Yes. Like they seem to have some type of semblance. Once again, I still believe that it's Kanemon's daughter. However, this idea that it's actually apparently, I'm just going to spoil it, the old man is Hyogoro of the Flowers, the original Yakuza boss, who really, it's interesting here. It's interesting. Like, did he get so old? Was he a powerful samurai at one point? Or was he just, like, greedy and money and all about that? Like a figurehead of the Yakuza with powerful people around him? Because here, he seems to get beaten on and doesn't seem to be able to fight back at all. Maybe he lost his will to fight. Maybe he lost a lot of his strength. Maybe he's been in prison for 20 years. Maybe, like, Kaido, like, he tried to fight against Kaido, got his ass kicked, and lost the will to fight. I don't know. But he actually is. He brings up, he calls them little punks and stuff, so he still has some form of pride. He says, you little punks, just kill me already. He said, I've met that man. The man who gave me these dongles. For the first time in years and years, my stomach and my heart are both satisfied, have been filled. And it's all because of that man. Back when, 20 years ago, they were a dime a dozen. Noble, honorable samurai just filled the streets. But this country has gone completely insane. That's all gone now because you killed them all. You guys are scum, you little punks, sort of idea. So just get rid of me. Like, I'm satisfied now. My heart has once again had a beat. You know, my stomach's been full. I can't ask for anything more in life. And Luffy's just like, yeah, okay, all right. I'm taking this guy out, and everyone's like, don't do it, don't do it. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to take out this scorpion. There's an elephant and a scorpion smile user and some other guys there that are beating up on old man Hyogoro of the Flowers, the original Yakuza boss. So what's his relationship to Kiyoshiro? What's his relationship to Komurasaki? What's his relationship to anybody? It's very, very interesting. I want to know, is this guy strong? Is he just a figurehead? Is he this? Is he that? I'm very interested in this character, more so than the Shogun. As I said, I think the Shogun's just either going to be a commoner or a greedy noble who was known by another name, given the powers of the Yamato no Orochi, changed his name to Orochi to instill fear, but he's probably just some 2-bit punk that everybody laughed at back in the day when they revealed his true name, you know, because it's still like, yeah, his name was always Orochi. He just so happened to get the Yamato no Orochi fruit that happens to exist, and he happened to get it by never leaving Wano. Yeah, so no, I think this is something that Kaido, you know, manipulated and tried to, or someone on Kaido's crew is got a little more head for this or something. We don't know how this happened, but I'll be interested to see. Either way, I really, really enjoy finding out more about this character, Hyogoro of the Flowers. The fact that Oda's not wasting time, he's like, yeah, that old man in prison, that's who he is. He may or may not have connections to other people, Komurasaki, Kanemon, Kiyoshiro, we don't know, but here's the guy. Luffy's trying to protect him. He seems to be one of those Yakuza bosses that was honorable, you know? Like all mafias have their own sense of code and honor, and you don't break those things. They do have rules, like the real mafias do have sets of rules. They're kind of like, part of the rule is you can backstab everyone, sort of idea, but it seems to be like there is a certain level of honor, and there is a certain code that goes along with that, and Hyogoro seems to have that feeling that noble samurai and stuff are way better than punks. Like, he would never have allowed this sort of idea under his reigns if that were the case. So I'm very, very interested. I'm very interested to see where this goes. At the very end, everyone's already made their Freddie Mercury, Queen comments and jokes on the forums. They're all really funny. I suggest you go check out any of the forums or any of the review discussions for this chapter. A lot of them were very clever, using different song lyrics and such, but I have to say, at the end of the chapter here, we get Queen is heading into the prison and like open it up, and everyone's like, Queen, 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 you know, so that it's going to be very interesting. So we're at a Queen concert, and that's going to be fun. Break next week, so that really sucks. So 9:35 will not be next week. It'll be the week after. That sucks because we're starting to build up some more momentum. I'm glad we're out of the Flower Capital. I'm glad we didn't waste too much time there. I like the pacing of this arc. We don't spend too much time on any one place. We jump between all our characters a lot. We don't stick around and draw things out too much. So the pacing is great because Oda just wants to jam-pack a lot of stuff in here, it feels like, and he's not wasting any time. So anyways, guys, that's the end of the chapter, end of the review. What did you guys all think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, it's always very much appreciated. Once again, apologies for the lateness of this review, but I'm just glad I got it out this weekend, and look forward to the Shokugeki no Soma for people who watch those. Look forward to that. I know missing the 300 for the day of, and actually even 2 days late, is really crappy. It's really shitty, and I'm probably going to see that in my view count as a result. But anyways, that's it for me, guys. Griever, as always, drink responsibly, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.